Good evening and welcome to the Stockbridge Selectboard meeting for August 24th, 2023. And we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda is National Grid Verizon joint poll hearing. So I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Yep, roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Jamie Manassi.
Is National Grid and Verizon here?
You see them?
I don't know.
On the phone. Yep, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
You want to explain what's going on, what you're doing?
So, the customer 5 Averick Road, they currently have they have their underground service under the road, and they're doing an upgrade. So, in order for them to go overhead, we propose to set a new mid-span pole on the frontage of their property, so we could give them their overhead service drop.
Okay.
And why does it have to go overhead?
Because their service is currently underground, and the way how their property is, their house is alongside a river stream, and they have like a little bridge. So it's kind of hard to describe, but basically there's a pole that wouldn't reach their property, so we would have to set a mid-span pole because there's 2 poles that cross over the road, and neither pole would be able to reach them overhead. So we would need to set a mid-span pole in order to have an overhead service where get to the corner of their house.
Okay. Anybody in public in favor or any objections? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and
Second. The evidentiary portion
of that portion and
and deliberation by the board.
deliberation by the board.
Second.
Roll call
Hi,
vote.
Patrick.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, Jamie.
Any questions?
Michael, you're okay with this?
Yes.
All right. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion. We approve. You made it. A second. All those in favor?
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Chuck. You're all set.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, folks.
Okay, Lincoln Lane sewer connection discussion.
All right. So,
Hi.
so that people can hear you, you might want to come up.
Okay,
I was going to lay out for the board first what's happened and then him respond. So there was a request made to the highway department that there was a failing septic connection on Lincoln Lane. Hugh Page went and visited the site and said that that's something that the town could take care of. He originally said that. Septic?
Yes,
It's a,
manhole.
not quite a manhole. It's not a full manhole, but it's a sewer connection for 2 homes at the end of Lincoln Lane. He brought it back to Tony Campetti, who then identified that this was a private sewer connection at the end of the road. Once I found out about that, I did look into it with the highway department to see if there was any evidence of any direct damage caused by any town vehicles or anything such as that, which there was no apparent direct cause for that. And therefore, the town, from my level down, myself, Tony, Hugh, we cannot authorize the use of town funds on private property at any time. So what I did is recommend that they come forward to express their concerns to the town and why they believe that the town is responsible for it in not a direct way, but they've mentioned that they believe there's indirect ways that may have caused the damage. And it'll be up to this board to decide if you feel as though the town is responsible in order for the town to take action on it. If not, then if you don't think that the town is the one most likely responsible for it, then we can't use town funds on private property. So that's just the gist of it, so.
Well, it's not exactly on private property, it's on the town property, the road.
Right, but that,
Our manhole
but
cover.
the manhole cover and the rest is all privately owned.
All right.
Yes.
Karen, David, and I are the only two houses on Lincoln Lane, and we have inherited that manhole cover. It's never been a problem until we noticed this spring. So after the winter, it seemed like the lid, and we have photographs, was lifted up and tilted to the side.
May I bring these up for you to see?
And you'll have a look at what that. what we're
Yes,
talking
I
about.
did go look at it.
Okay.
She has some photos.
You can bring them up. Look.
I called the Massachusetts Road Department, and I was told a couple of things. It is possible that that could have been lifted by the snowplow from the town. We've also had an inordinate amount of traffic down that Lincoln Lane because of construction on the corner. We have National Grid going down there. We've got a lot of public traffic, unlike we've ever had before, over the past year, year and a half. That cover has gotten worse. Again, Massachusetts told me that usually a manhole cover is placed in the middle of a road to avoid these kinds of problems. Whoever originally agreed to the location, put it off, that was the town, and he also, Massachusetts, the guy said that that would have been the responsibility, the location of the town. Whoever was in charge at that time, we're talking about years ago, put it off, and when, I know when Karen and David turn into their driveway, they're always going to hit that. Any car or truck coming down is going to hit that with their tire. It's not in the middle of the road, it's off to the side. Easy access for anybody to mess that up. And that's one reason, or several reasons why we feel the town, in all goodwill, should help us to take care of this.
Okay, my opinion is like you stated, there was a lot of traffic, a lot of different vehicles. It's a privately owned manhole. It's not a manhole that is built to town specs. So a lot of that private manhole is decaying because of the way it was built. And I'm sure the traffic didn't help it at all. And being it's a private manhole, and I would recommend two things on the behalf of the select board. If you replace it with a town spec structural manhole, under our bylaws, after a year, we would take it over.
I know that.
That's the route I would recommend you going, or you can fix it on your own and maintain it. But I don't see where this is a town responsibility to put taxpayers into a private manhole. And I think this open up a whole world of trouble down the road, everybody else with private manholes and stuff that have issues. That would be my recommendation.
Chuck, again, from what I've gathered, the information I've gathered, not only did the town inspector at the time, whoever that was, not only did they identify where they wanted to put it.
But we don't know that. That's what the state said, Dave. We don't know the town did that.
They said that the town would have been in charge and that it would have been inspected after that to meet regulations.
That was years ago, so.
That's correct.
No,
So the town, the request was made to put that sewer connection in and that type of manhole in, and the town did approve it
Approve it
at that
back in time,
time,
but-
based on the request made at the time by different owners
Yes.
to place that there.
But nobody thought through that it would be in the line of the tire traffic at the time.
We don't, it
Yeah, we don't.
predate, this goes back many, many years and
How many, do you mind if I ask them a couple?
Yes.
You said that there's only two houses on Lincoln Lane, but they're building more houses? When you say this construction, what kind of construction?
Big renovation on the.
Oh, okay. What's up, what, besides Lincoln Lane?
What would happen is the trucks would come down the street and then turn in our driveway or Mary's driveway, to turn around. And every time they would do that, they would go over that manhole cover multiple times.
And is there, are there other houses on adjacent streets that are on the sewer or not on the sewer? How did the sewer get there? Did the last one run a line a mile or 100 feet?
so there was an extension request at that time to add this portion to the.
And are there, what's the distance of that extension? Do you know?
What point you talking
At
about?
100 feet?
I'm asking basically,
About 100 feet.
okay. So there's a public sewer line that goes 100 feet from this,
Yeah.
that this extension serves. And if we were to approve this, there's then really no opportunity to serve other homes. That's where I was going.
Right.
Okay. And do you know how many other private manholes we have in town or similar?
Don't have an exact number. We know there are others.
There's a lot.
many. Yeah.
There's, Jesuit did a whole big project. They'll come by near you, right thing. There was a big project about Prospect Hill there that put all those manholes in. And there's quite a few private manholes.
But order of magnitude, is that quite a few, 10 or 100 or 200?
If you need, I can get that, I'd have to get that from Tony. He'd have to go through the records to figure out exactly which one. When a request comes in for a repair, we check to see whether or not those fall within, some are on private, could be on private ways that have water and sewer. Some could be, public systems under private roads and private roads under, private systems under public roads.
I mean, but you have no idea how many of these we have?
No.
I have a few questions. I don't know if it's helpful. So when you purchased your homes, was it a known fact that it's a private road?
Well, it's not a private road.
It's not a
It's a
private
public road.
It's a public
It's a
road.
private sewer connection at the end.
Okay, so, but was that knowledge given? Okay. So it's a public road, so anybody can drive on the road?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Sorry.
Which is actually our point,
but wait, is it public, is it,
subject to public wear and tear.
The other thing I'd just like to add, just so you're aware, the other traffic that we get quite a bit of is if you Google the Mary Flynn Trail, it takes us right down to the end of our street. If you Google Mary Flynn Trailhead, it takes you to the Mary Flynn Trail on Park Street. But most people Google the Mary Flynn Trail. We get parade of cars, especially during the summer, up and down all the time, looking for the Mary Flynn Trail.
Some additional wear and tear.
okay.
So it's not like it's just our two houses that access that space.
No, and is it your responsibility to man your own sewer then, your own septic?
This has never been an issue.
But don't most people have to maintain their
Maintain your
septic?
private septic.
So
It's not septic, though.
So
Yes.
there's two parts to everybody's septic system.
Oh, I see.
Everybody is responsible for what's called the
They both
service
go to the
connection.
manhole.
That is the connection from the main
Private.
to your home. What this is, the main was extended and a manhole was put in at the end
Okay.
privately and then connected off. Normally, that part would be owned by the town. And
Right.
then just the service connection would be the responsibility of the owner.
Okay.
In this case, for whatever reason, we're talking decades ago, they put in this
Mm-hmm. Okay.
on the end of this road.
But if this were being put in today, our plan, even if the taxpayer was paying for it,
Yeah,
we would own it after a year.
yes.
And that's, I think, my larger point, which is that this was not a best practice the way we were doing it years and years ago. And we have other situations where we've got private sewer lines where now other people can't connect to them. And I think we should standardize a policy on, if the town isn't willing to take it over after a year, we shouldn't put it in, A. And B, at some point, I think we should consider moving toward acquiring all of these so that we can just have one rule that fits everybody. Because it just seems like you know,
we've made the one adjustment on the policy.
yeah, I know.
The second part,
And that was great.
taking over.
After a year.
Existing private ones. Right, that one we put it, but the one that we're doing now, taking over old private ones, that would take a town meeting vote
I
to
understand.
do those. So it's, yeah.
Do we have a estimate of what the expenses would be?
Thousands. Right, am I correct? Thousands of dollars.
It depends on also how it's installed. So right now, it's not, the way it was installed and is not a proper main and manhole. So it appears it was done in a cheaper way.
And when we repair other manholes in town, does the highway department do that themselves or do we bring in a vendor?
We usually, depending on the depth, most of the time we do it ourselves.
Yeah, Tony said that it could be done.
And how much and is this one where we could do it ourselves?
Yeah,
So the question, we can do it ourselves at relatively low cost, or we could have a private vendor come in and work on a public road for them?
so like I said, the reason why it's in front of you guys is the fact that
It's considered.
I
private.
cannot,
It's a
I
private
cannot
manhole.
authorize.
I understand, but it's
You
gonna,
guys are making a decision that the town is responsible for this, that the damages caused fall within the town. Therefore, that's why we should be using town funds to repair this, whether we upgrade it or however you.
but are there funds involved? I mean, if the highway were to fix it?
It's still taxed
Where
out.
does
wouldn't-
money come
We
from?
wouldn't the town wouldn't fix it if,
I'm saying that you said that we could repair this one
I
internally.
thought you meant if you make the determination. If not, it's a private,
It's a private.
If you
yeah.
don't-
I'm not talking about who pays, I'm talking about,
if you decide that this is not a town issue, it becomes their responsibility to hire somebody to fix their sewer
Excuse me,
connection.
Patrick. Tony said, yes, he could fix it.
Yes,
He has the machinery and he has the ability and he knows how to
Right.
do it.
that part
That's
is
not
not
an
a
issue.
question. We can,
Not the issue.
we're having a philosophical conversation around whether this is a town issue because we're not sure if the folks right in the road were the plow operators are private people, is basically what we're talking about.
right. So the other example I get, if we directly take out somebody's mailbox with a plow, our guys note it, we go back, we replace that. That's private property, but we have a direct cause, so we would fix it. Without a direct cause, they're petitioning the board that you guys should consider years and years of indirect
I
has led to that the town should take responsibility. This squarely, I hate to say it, falls to the select board to make a determination of whether you believe the town is responsible for the damages to the system, therefore should make the upgrade, or whether or not this is not, you don't believe it's the town's primary responsibility in the damages to it, therefore it would become their responsibility to fix it. It's a very rare thing that happens, but it has happened, and here's where we're at. They asked what they could do after I made my decision based on my research, and I had to say, sorry, I cannot authorize the town to fix this. The option was for them to come to you to plead their case. So,
I have one more thing to say, again, which I said before. If this decision is kind of sitting on the fence, and it's kind of arbitrary, then we would ask, please, for the town's goodwill, to help this get done. It'll be better for anybody else coming down the road. It'll be better for the snowplow. It'll be better for everybody in general.
And where it is that where the sewer cap is on the main Lincoln Lane. It's not on our driveway, so the snowplow comes down and they plow Lincoln Lane,
They hit this.
they hit it, it's right there. They can't avoid it.
Okay.
What was the
Any
other
more
question?
questions? You okay?
Kind of, if we, say we said yes, that it's our responsibility, does this set a precedent? So we have to fix everyone's
Pretty much.
manhole?
they would, would have to come in.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, no,
I'm gonna ask.
Sorry, not you.
People would have to come in and explain why they believe and whether or not they've laid out the cause that the town was responsible for the damages.
Because there's many.
So, and that's why it can't be just based on us wanting to help somebody. It's gotta be based on, do you believe
We need
that over
real,
time, the town is primarily responsible for the deterioration of this manhole?
Right.
If you believe that that is the case, then you can authorize through me to have Tony and Hugh make the repair on that system.
Let's talk about that
it's
for a second.
hard because there's no data and there's no facts. It's not like, oh, we hit it, you know.
And that's why I said no.
Unless,
And, yeah,
unless we're sitting out there in the winter. However, again, this manhole cover, Lincoln Lane's not a long road. Manhole cover is pretty much at the end. So anybody coming down there and turning around.
Again, I still don't have,
I mean, as
Data.
much as I would love to help, I really can't justify spending tax dollars money on that private manhole,
I think that,
opinion.
well, let me ask one other question as someone who doesn't repair highways often. What are the other potential causes besides the lip, or the edge of the plow that could dislodge a manhole cover? What might,
It could be any traffic, it could be just
Oh.
the.
Could it be
The
weather?
block starting to rot.
could it be
It's-
rain?
Yeah,
It's over time.
Over time,
Yeah.
manholes have to be replaced. We replace our own over time. The bricks deteriorate.
I think this one's just
but
aged out.
it could have been a plow hitting it.
And
It's been a plow hitting it.
I've stated that, and I
Private
stated that
plow.
to Mary also.
Private plow.
Could it be? Yes. But without direct, like I said, without a direct thing.
I understand,
So-
I understand how you
That
explain
is
it.
also what Massachusetts Road Department said, that yes, it could be that.
I mean, if it could have been that, and it costs us relatively nothing because it's fixed costs.
No, it's something.
Yeah, but most of it's our own labor. and-
Yeah, but we're not gonna, it's not overtime,
But-
right?
But
It's,
I wouldn't focus on the cost. I would focus on if you believe that.
I understand what the issue is, Michael, but I'm suggesting that in this case, it doesn't really on the margin cost us anything. It'll cost them thousands of dollars. We'll have a private company working on the road. And it's something where we kind of want the manholes to be standardized anyway. I'm going with, we should do it.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, that's your official vote?
Yeah, that's gonna, that's my position.
And I'm voting no, that we shouldn't be using
But you
tax.
need a motion.
I'll make
Well,
a-
somebody needs to make.
I'll make a motion that we do not fund replacing this manhole.
Just in terms of, what is the funding?
The Stockbridge is not responsible for the manhole.
Even though you think that it's
Okay.
possible or probable that all that traffic wrecked our manhole?
All that, you said all that traffic, so all that traffic is not Stockbridge vehicles. It's the construction, it's deterioration of the manhole, it's the age of the manhole. And I think we're gonna open up a can of worms for down the road for other projects.
Is the snowplow a town vehicle?
Yeah, but you just stated that all the construction going on, everything else was going on.
That's just one of,
So
the obvious would have been a snowplow.
well, no, it's not yet. I mean, it could have been your snowplow from your driveway or your neighbor's driveway. I mean, so,
But that's
There's
not
no-
already plowed, that's already
That's
plowed
not-
by the town.
no, but when they plow your driveways, they plow it out and they plow it over.
No,
So
they-
I'm just
actually, no.
not gonna argue with you.
That's not correct. Don't let that
So
stand.
I'll make the motion that
There's a motion.
do not proceed in the town involved in this manhole. Do I have a second? You can vote.
I don't know yet.
But
I still,
or you want more time? You got more questions? I'll withdraw my motion if you have more questions.
I am really stuck on this one.
I know.
About how many hours of work?
If you would like, I can get a plan and a cost, because there'll still be a manhole sleeve that has to be put in the rest. If you'd like me to bring that back for the next meeting, if there's information you need to make your final decision, then I can bring that back for the next meeting.
Can we
Michael,
table it? It's not an emergency, right?
Yeah, we can just continue, I think what you'd want to do is possibly get this done before the winter.
Right, of
Which still
course,
gives us
but I
plenty
mean,
of
if we
time.
have 2 weeks,
Yeah,
it's
if
not
you
an
want to continue
emergency.
this to the next meeting, I can, and you want me to have them draw what the cost would be, hours and the rest.
And
Then
how
we'll have to
many
take a
other
look at it.
manholes in town there are?
Yep.
And would it be possible for a potential compromise where if there's an out-of-pocket cost, like for the sleeve, that the folks who own the property, that installed it, pay for the out-of-pocket costs, but our labor installs it?
You're making a determination, either the town, because either way is a cost. So the NTA provision says, no, we can't
No, I don't think we
use
can do that.
town funds, that includes town time on private property.
Right.
So you're making a call to either do it
Or
or
not do it.
not. So I can now have them, if the board wants me to, they can take the time now to look at what a proper upgrade to that line would cost. And then I can bring that back at the next one if you feel like that is the deciding factor.
You know, I would like to say again, this originated,
Okay,
in my mind, it originated with the era of the town. Whoever installed it, whoever inspected it, and whoever approved it, left us with a lemon.
But then,
Well, that's-
but based on what you're saying,
That was years
Michael,
ago.
if this is a determination, we really should not be based on cost.
Precisely. It's
Right,
actually,
so I think we should vote, I think we should vote one way or the other.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not gonna lose it, yeah.
yeah, it's really not a cost. It's not just because something's cheaper or more
No, no,
expensive.
but
If,
it's-
like I said, if you hit a manhole, if we drove hit somebody's house or something, we would be responsible for it. It's not it's like I
If we
said,
have any responsibility, it's that we allowed a substandard manhole to be put in and didn't have a provision where we're gonna take it over and maintain it on a public road.
But that was years
That's the
ago.
error of our ways here.
Oh, way back, how do you?
But what difference does it make? It's still the town. It wasn't any of our
was it
fault.
the town that put it in?
Town approved the location and allowed a substandard manhole to be installed in town property, from what I'm
No,
hearing.
that's not,
That's not,
an application came from the current owners, the previous
Previous owners,
owners, not the
right.
current owners, the previous owners to install. And they were approved by the town and would have been inspected by the town that they were connected. Yes.
oh, okay.
the back then codes are different.
Codes were different and time. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to vote on tonight? You want to? Have time to go over it.
I'm really
Sorry,
stuck on
about it.
this one. I know it's on me. Catbird cage here.
So if you're sitting on the fence about a decision, why not just go with the goodwill of the town in understanding?
I'm gonna vote no.
I'll make a motion that the town does not repair.
Well, it's going to
Think of it again.
stand. So please stop hitting,
So, do I
stop
have a second?
stop making the situation worse.
Do I have a second?
Yes,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Nay. All right.
Sorry, I mean, I would love to help you, but I just can't justify it.
I don't think so. If you would have loved to help us, you would have said yes.
Well, I disagree with them. I think it's a reasonable position for them to have. There's no right answer here, but, you know.
That's what I'm saying. If it's arbitrary and there's no right answer, why not say yes? Kindness is in very short supply these days. Okay, I'm out. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, take action on a one-day alcohol license for Chesterwood Museum on September 7th from 8 to 5 p.m., September 14th from 6 to 7 p.m., and October 14th from 5 to 6 p.m.
Motion approved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Take action on a one-day alcohol license for Berkshire Botanical Garden on September 8th from 6 to 11 p.m., September 9th from 5 to 11 p.m., and September 10th from 12 to noon. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Take action on one-day alcohol license for
Anthony?
Anthony Brewing for the Joss Billings after race held at Camp Mackinac on September 10th from 10 PM to 5 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Take action on the minutes of July 27th, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Curtisville Bridge Estimate, Mike.
One question, do we want to move up?
Yeah, let's move Scott up.
Yeah.
So we got a nice announcement.
Different pens.
That's it.
I just need a pen. That one doesn't work. Thank
So
you.
I'm very pleased to announce, a long time in coming, promotion of Scott Muir from part-time firefighter EMT to full-time fire EMT.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
You have the recommendation from the
To
chief and there's a motion.
Make a motion that we appoint Scott to the position.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Scott,
Congratulations.
welcome aboard. Come on up. Thank you for your years and years of service and continued service. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Scott.
Can I get a picture for the Berkshire Ridge?
And keep him in line, chief.
Do we want to do the signatories tonight, or do we want to do that a different day?
The what?
The signature part of it. for the
Yeah.
consent.
Oh,
Give them to us, we'll do it. That way they're,
If we don't schedule our signatures.
thanks.
You need a good penny, Alan.
so hopefully this is the first of many.
That's the plan. Don't go anywhere. You got a signature too.
Ready?
Oh, Michael, you got one too.
When do you start?
Looking to be about the 11th.
Okay.
That will be 2 weeks for Richmond,
Oh, right.
but I've already spoken to them.
I don't want the Richmond chief come beat me up now, okay? But congratulations, guys.
You're
Have
there.
we finished painting the firehouse?
And today is the 24th.
Thank you.
It was deferred. We transferred the money over from last fiscal year to this fiscal year because everybody's been booked out so far with all the construction jobs. All right. That'll do it.
All right.
Official.
Thank you very much. You want this for you? All right.
Give it to Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Okay, Curtisville Bridge, additional estimate for engineering review option for restoration of the bridge. Want to explain that, Mike?
We had a company come up, Alan Wilkins had invited along Patrick and myself, met with, they're called Structure North Consultant Engineerings. They came up and did a visual inspection of the Curtisville Bridge, and they believe that there are some options to maintain the Curtisville Bridge. Most likely would be as a pedestrian bridge, but keeping it as a stone arch bridge. So they think there's a possible way of pouring cement within it, the possibility of allowing the structure to remain as a stone arch bridge, keeping the character of that neighborhood and the rest. Obviously, this is a visual inspection. They haven't done core sampling or any of the other work that would need to be done in order to determine if their hypothesis of how they could repair it would actually work or not. They have put a not to exceed $14,500 expense for doing the Curtisville Bridge. We do have leftover money in the bridge account from the previous bridges that ended up coming in under what we needed. So we do have funds available to fund this. This would give us three options moving forward. So right now we have the design option that's looking at fixing the banks, taking down the existing bridge and creating a pedestrian walk bridge. We have the second option, which is taking down the existing bridge using the stones and embedding them into cement poured walls and creating the facade of a stone arch bridge, but making it back into a roadway bridge. And this would give us a third option of possibly making this into a pedestrian bridge and maintaining the stone arch bridge as it, I want to say as is, because there are some improvements in the rail systems and others that'll have to be done, but keeping it with the historic characteristics of the bridge. So it does seem like this would give the board those three options to then hold some public meetings once we get cost estimates and the rest in around those three options. And then have some public hearings and decide for next May, which one to bring to an annual town meeting to see if we have funds appropriated for it. So I would recommend that the board consider this. It would give you all three options to really explore and then make a decision. The one thing we can't do is we can't wait another 3 or 5 more years, or that the fate of that bridge is going to be taken over by time. So we really need to. Because even if you put this in place, by the time it's designed, engineered, you're still talking at least 3 years out. So we don't want to wait another 3 or 5 years before even getting to this point. So we should be putting this as a consideration.
Then we have the money.
We have the funds.
And I thought we had someone, there was some.
They were looking at the first 2 options is what you guys approved.
Okay.
Because before, the only other one was a multiple $1 million to take down the bridge and then reassemble it as a stone arch bridge. Yeah. They think there's a way they can save the bridge with pinning it and the rest. You were
As
How-
a pedestrian bridge.
but as a pedestrian.
That's a decision that we had to make with the town input on
Right.
which way the town wants to go.
Frankly, first of all, the engineers were there for a few hours. There were 2 of them. They went in the water, they went under the bridge. They were amazing. They basically did a thorough inspection. This has nothing to do, this is before our time, but it's a little disappointing when, of course, it would be much more expensive to just disassemble it. And I hate to think that the recommendation was designed, the method of saving it seems to have been designed in a way that would be far more expensive than what the relatively simple to understand explanation that they gave us, which is you can put basically a plate over it. So there's no load bearing on the old stone bridge. And I just think we should be cognizant of the fact that,
And then they pour, my understanding is they pour cement within it to create
Right.
that rigid foundation it won't make it a 2020, it wouldn't make it to chapter 85 standards, so it wouldn't become a road bridge, but it would make it very much a potential pedestrian bridge.
I just don't love that the other engineer said it was 6 or 7 million to disassemble a bridge if you want to save it. That obviously, gears us toward not saving a bridge that's almost 200 years old, and it's a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
That's why you get different engineers in to make different options and come up with different strategies.
Thank you. Alan Wilkin, Stockbridge resident, and I think you're making a lot of more complicated than what this proposal is for. Right now, the town has options for that bridge, which were presented by an engineer who does not necessarily have experience with this kind of a bridge. So I think all we're asking here is, let's get a second opinion,
I got no issue with that.
some other ideas.
Right, but not all of us were at that meeting.
No,
We weren't even on the board.
Decisions were actually in 2015 that
Yeah,
you're
we weren't even on
referring to.
so
No, I got,
if you were going in for heart surgery and the general practitioner told you you needed a replacement heart, wouldn't you go to a specialist in heart surgery and get a second opinion? These folks specialize as structural engineers in this kind of historic bridge. And I
but
think
as a pedestrian bridge.
No, they will look at both options.
Both options, okay, I mean, that's
Yeah,
fine.
Just a different way. One of the things they said,
As long
if
as
that dam above ever broke and the river cascaded down, the last thing standing would be that arch. So
The reason why we,
had engineers who don't necessarily understand a stone arch bridge. These folks are specialists.
Okay.
Let's get a second
No
opinion.
issue, we will. I mean, I got no issue with it. I'm not arguing with you, I'm agreeing with you. A third opinion's great, and when we get all the numbers for all three options, We will have a couple of public hearings, see how the town wants to go, and then we'll take it from there. It's gonna be up to basically the town vote on how we go with this. And that's the way it should be, not our decision, the town vote decision.
But just a second opinion, I think, is worthwhile.
Make a motion
Be a
to
third
approve the
opinion.
14.5.
I'll second it.
All right.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 We agreed.
All right.
No, the more information we have, the better.
I think you might have a hand up.
Any public,
And,
anybody online have any comment?
and.
Ian?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
go ahead.
This is a second opinion for just a pathway. So that means we'll have two opinions on a pathway and one on a roadway. Is that correct?
I believe this may include both, but I don't know if it'd be chapter 85.
I guess it wasn't 100, but, right, whether or not it can meet chapter 85, I'm not sure. But
This
they would
one-
do the evaluation. and
This
tell
one,
us what
we'll do the
options.
evaluation, what we just talked about of both, but if it doesn't meet the chapter 85 specs, then it would just be a pedestrian bridge. But we won't know that until they do their study. So there may be, you follow, I mean, did I answer your question?
Yeah, because I was going to say, maybe we should decide first if we want it to be just a pathway or a pathway and a roadway. But you say this might be either, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think for that little bit of money, for what this project's gonna cost, I think it's a good investment to have this third option. And then when we come to town meeting, it'd be nice to, we did our homework, we did our job. Then it's up to the town to decide they want it to be a full bridge, a pedestrian bridge, and what type of bridge.
Well, can we talk about that for a second? 'Cause
Okay, thank you.
if we want to have that discussion at town meeting, and we're having one in October, maybe we should have a discussion of what, I mean, that's kind of what these hearings are for, to let people know, because if we then bring a proposal to town meeting, it's going to be yes or no. It's not going to give people options.
Well, we gotta wait for these numbers to come in.
It's up to you guys how you put it together and how you want to bring it to town meeting.
But we'll have a
You could bring two options to town meeting.
But we can have public,
Different funding.
we can have public hearings before the
Have
town
public
meeting.
hearings.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The timing of this right now would
We
be,
need pricing right now.
Right, we've already approved it, so.
right,
yeah.
they would do the study over the next couple of months, do their engineering calculations, they do their look at there is a concern with the retaining wall downstream and others, and they need to look at all that. But visually, they thought there was a chance, as you were, both of you them were there, they think there's a chance to save it. That won't be confirmed until they do further analysis.
So hopefully if we can get all
You
these
guys have
numbers
approved to do
for,
that, so.
we have all the numbers for all three projects, hopefully sometime in March.
Yeah, I would,
So maybe sometime in April, we can have a couple of public hearings and see what.
I will make sure, because all we need for the other one is updated numbers, because the numbers were from 2015, which I asked Foresight to
It'll
update
go way up.
those numbers from 2015, so we have an accurate, because we have the facade one.
Yeah.
That was the one that came out of the Mass Historical Commission's money, 50,000, was the facade of a stone arch bridge, which Mass Historical said no to.
Yeah.
Which was their, and now, so this will give us those two as the primaries if you're gonna save the bridge in some format. And then the other one would be just if the bridge wasn't there, creating a pedestrian walkway, so.
So, when the bridge falls down, we go to the third option. No, well, I think having the three options is great, and especially if that third option may include a road bridge, but we'll see. But I would like to have, a public
Yeah.
hearing before our
I think that's
town
right.
meeting
Right,
to
right.
get the town input.
And one of the factors, by the way, is just that the beautiful rail system that's up there now is only going to work with pedestrian bridge because it doesn't meet the chapter 85 specs. So if you want to keep it looking as close as it looks now, it's going to be a pedestrian bridge.
Right.
Sort of like the Butler Bridge, and you can't drive a car over because it
Yeah,
doesn't.
but we want the input of the town in that, because
All right.
what the neighborhood wants to do and all that too. Okay. Announce cemetery commission openings.
You skipped,
Candace,
oh, do we want to do that? Well, Candace
Well,
is here,
there's
and we have CTSB.
I missed that one.
Are they here?
CTSB presentation. Somebody here for that?
Probably Anita.
No, it was gonna be Rich Frederick.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna go call him and see if he's. Why don't we keep going and
Why don't we keep going?
I'll text him.
Announcement of cemetery commission openings?
is that Candace?
Yeah, so the cemetery commission, new bylaws have been approved by the state. So therefore we need to reestablish the cemetery commission. So we're gonna operate with the one that we have under the old bylaws until the committee, till the select board appoints new members.
Okay.
So the new setup is a 5-member board instead of the other board, which had all 3 selectmen, you know, the highway superintendent, the cemetery commissioner, the town clerk, Laurel Hill representative, member, now it's just 5 people.
People, so
One from,
The select board.
one from the select board and one from Laurel Hill.
Yeah.
And
has to be
three,
has to be one for the
and then
select board?
3 at large, yeah.
This is in the bylaw we passed this from the industry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure whether we want to do announcements of the openings because you guys have, you know, or Candace, we have a recommendation for the board to consider.
Well, I think we should announce that there are openings, people can,
Yeah,
like we usually do, and then if you get recommendations, we'll take those too, but I think we got to open it up to the public announcing that there is
Well, we already have board members though.
opening.
There's more that we have than what we have now openings on, you know, so I think if people with the experience serving on the board want to continue to serve,
Yeah. but
Yeah, okay.
Still need, somebody in the public's,
we can still,
just so we can get the names and.
Yeah, we'd still love to have names of other
Yes.
people, yeah.
but
I'll place this on the next meeting in September.
If you
So
ever-
if anybody's interested in applying for the cemetery commission, be on it.
Yep.
Please contact Teresa here at Town Hall.
and the bylaw was approved by the Attorney General.
Yep.
Yes.
And so do we technically not have a board now?
No, we need to just build it under.
Yes or no? We don't have a board in place.
We have a board in place, yes. The
board-
Until we
President of
until
board
we
is
set
in
up the
place.
new one.
Okay.
You don't just end it just because we changed it. Now you guys will change it and the next meeting will approve it.
Okay.
Which your next meeting is,
Last Tuesday in September?
yeah, so we'll have the board reconstituted in time for their next meeting.
Good.
So the 29th.
It might be the week before.
Yeah, but we'll put ours on your next meeting is the 14th.
No,
Of
the
September.
cemetery, I
Right,
thought was
but
the 29th.
If we appoint the members on the 14th,
Right.
that gives people time to put their names in
Right.
for the 14th.
Okay.
And we'll reach out to Laurel Hill to ask them who their representative would be on the committee. And then obviously you guys can debate on who from the select board will sit on the committee.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Cemetery signs, what's that?
That's me.
Yep.
So a little show and tell. So I am Candace Curry, Vice Chair of the Cemetery Commission. And we would like to install a sign at least 4 of the entrances of the cemetery that just says cemetery open dawn to dusk.
They're
And
gonna be more attractive than that, aren't they?
it will be an oval sign. That is the hope anyways. This is 15 inches by 10 inches. And we wanted it to look not like a street sign. And so this is just for people who are driving or walking into the cemetery from Main Street and maybe 2 others off the Num Keg Road, just as you enter the cemetery roads.
Okay. And what colors are you planning on using?
Black and white,
Black and white, okay.
yes.
What kind of material?
This will probably be metal. And Hugh, our superintendent, said he can install the signs.
Oh, yeah, no, we should.
So, and it's coming before this board rather than the planning board because the cemetery is a town-owned property.
And that's the size of the sign.
Yes. It's possible, after I speak to the designer a little bit more, the lettering and the black stripe might be
Okay,
wider
that's
perhaps.
fine. I mean, that's within reason.
Yeah, but you're not driving at even 25 miles per hour past these signs, right? You're driving into the cemetery and saying, oh, okay, it's not open now. So this is to provide a little more,
When you say metal, what are we thinking? Like,
It, like a standard parking sign is a metal sign that's painted white and black. You don't like that idea?
well, I just think it's like it's, I think it should look like either a,
We could go with wood. Or there's also plastics,
no.
okay? So wood is an option, it just is gonna require more maintenance further down the road. The metal has a little more perpetuity associated with it.
Yeah. I think it should look like something that is in, the character which is is consistent with an old New England cemetery. And if,
Okay.
they wouldn't have been making it out of,
So you,
Like iron, no.
yeah, either iron or wood, something that's,
okay,
we have an iron worker right here in town, who makes these kind of signs. Let's ask Bob Barrow what he thinks. I mean,
Could.
make it beautiful is all I care about.
right. And so we're looking at 4 of them,
So,
okay,
Yeah.
all
This
right,
is coming out of cemetery budget.
yes.
Okay, we got a lot of money in cemetery budget, don't we?
No, there's never a lot of money in a cemetery budget.
It's a lot of money made towards the work that we're doing up there.
Okay, so this doesn't fall under the,
It will come out of the cemetery budget.
Yeah, come out of the
this
cemetery.
doesn't fall under that perpetuity budget, correct?
No, that was,
No, that was different.
That's where a lot of money is, right?
What's that?
That's where the money is, right, in that one, that account?
There is, yes.
Okay, I'm just,
So I'm happy to,
we approved the sign, and let's just work on the materials.
yes.
I mean, I'd be happy to approve the sign. I think it's nice.
no, signs are great, I'm just wondering about the black and white, and should it be like green and gold, or should it be something?
It should look consistent with an old
It's a
cemetery in New
cemetery.
England, whatever that is.
That's
I mean,
fine, black and white's
yeah.
fine, we'll go with that.
All right.
Okay,
But if I don't, I think we should just focus on the letters, I was going to say, and the shape. Because this board is not supposed to talk about style,
Design.
No.
generally speaking.
Well,
So
this is what.
I understand, I know, I understand that, Michael. I'm putting an asterisk on that.
yeah, this isn't a private house where we say you can't paint it purple.
No, it's not a business where you can't say, like, where we can weigh in on design. My point is that, if it's an aluminum sign painted white, black and white, it's gonna like stand out like an eyesore.
It's gonna look
And so,
funny.
but I think that the materials will often determine what potential color we can go with. So let's,
Okay.
I think we should make a motion to approve and empower the cemetery commission to
Thank you.
make the determination
You
on
kind of know what we're
materials.
looking for.
Yep,
So,
and
go and
Patrick's
do
been coming
it,
to our meetings,
and-
and so,
Yeah.
Once they're in, we know they're gonna be great,
okay.
okay? So we're just giving you leeway
Yeah.
to
Did you
make
say
it.
not red? Is that what you just said?
Not
No,
purple.
as long as you can read it. All right.
No, so
Thank you
definitely the
very much.
signs, I'll
Okay,
make a motion, we approve the cemetery to do the signs. Yes.
Well, we're approving the design. We have to do that.
Yeah,
The motion to approve the basic size and shape and words on the sign.
okay.
I'll second that motion.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I know you do a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Because
thank
it's-
you.
I
Okay.
just want it to look really nice and fit the town.
Keeping with Stockbridge, okay.
ARPA discussion, installation of Pinewood Walkway, discussion of letter from Mass DOT, and the Park Street Bridge, Mary Flynn Trail, repair and long-term responsibility. So let's do the first one, the
So we-
good news about the walkway.
Yeah, we've been following up with Mass Highway as far as a couple of different programs that Mass Highway offers to see if we could get the town into any of these programs. And after a couple meetings, one of the things that, when we made the switch in staffing and put Christine down at the DPW, one of the things we told her was be a nuisance, start calling Mass Highway and follow up on these, and we received a letter from Mass Highway that that Mass Highway shares the interest in providing a safe and accommodating for all travel modes. They're interested in constructing a sidewalk from Pine Woods toward North or Church Street. Would be agreeable to partner with the town, contingent on the town agreeing to construct a 450-foot section from the North Church Street side to Grange Hall, because that area there is town land, so they can't spend state funds on town property. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna recommend through ARPA that we not only, I'm recommending to you guys that not only do we just commit to constructing it, we actually put our remaining ARPA funds toward it and build that section in anticipation of the state building the remaining 750 feet. So we think that based on standard methods, we're looking at around 85,000 with the ARPA funds balances. What I'm going to recommend is between the Mary Flynn Trail Bridge, if we were to appropriate 100,000 for that, which we'll talk about in a minute, and then appropriate all remaining funds, that leaves 97,896 towards sidewalks. I would word it as sidewalks and various roads, and basically take the remaining, whatever's left, and just spend it on that. Because we know like the housing production plan might come in under 20, so we might have a few thoughts. So I think we just throw the rest in the sidewalks and roads and let it happen. So, you know, I'd like to thank Hugh and Christine for their work on this. It was a team effort. And
So our suggestion is we hold off on this motion and deal with the second one, which is going to be a lump sum, and that all the balance of the money we put into highways and sidewalks, and we'll do that as a,
yeah.
or we can do that now and just say the balance. The last one we're going to designate is the bridge if we do that.
I'll make a motion, we use the balance of the ARPA fund for the sidewalk and various road work.
We could do it that way too. Second.
That one, price tag, it's going to wipe out.
All those in favor?
And I can't put on this.
Wait,
Yes.
we got a hand up.
Go ahead.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi, it's Joanna from PCA. I was just wondering if in that budget item, it's been considered to build a safety barrier along that walkway that the tenants at Pine Woods have requested from, well, specifically Patrick. I've mentioned this a couple times to him. But yeah, because of the speeding that happens by our driveway and along that area of the road, a lot of tenants, including myself, have expressed not wanting to use a walkway, even if there was one, just because of that. Because people speed at upwards of 70 miles an hour.
This is sidewalk.
Road.
No, this would be a sidewalk. It would be separate from the road.
Right, but where is the sidewalk being proposed to be put exactly?
It'll be alongside the road,
From Pinewood.
from Pinewood down to the Grange.
Yeah.
But it'll be a full 4-foot sidewalk.
So
You know,
Mass Highway would design and build it according to their specification of sidewalk design.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be
Safety consideration.
I'm sure it'd be a curb and it'd be a raised sidewalk. So it'll be a state spec sidewalk.
Okay, so does that mean that we couldn't put in a special request for some sort of additional safety barrier or some kind of safety feature? Because, you know, that area of road is, like I said, a lot of people speed. The police often will park in our driveway to catch speeders for that reason. And, you know, with people texting and not paying attention, it's not totally far-fetched to think that they might, you know, go over a very simple, low lying.
There is no crash data or evidence that that's a dangerous section of road. The road would be designed to Mass State's standards. It's
I
not,
don't think that would be an issue. It would be the same as the sidewalk going down 7 South, you know, stuff. We have no issues there. That's right on the side of the road. We're lined inside, even the south side where they get picking up speed. I think it'd be a great improvement, and I don't really see the issue.
If you'd like, I
it's
could
not our
gather
design.
data from the police department as to how many times people have sped. I've gone upwards to 70 miles an hour in that section of roadway. If you'd like, I can prepare that information for your consideration, because I don't want this to get poo-pooed. I would like this to get some serious consideration.
Look at, what we just, Joanna, what we're voting on is the section of sidewalk around North Church Street that we would be responsible for. We are not at all responsible for the design or installation of the state part of this project. And I think you can advocate with the state, but we don't control the state part of the project. And for 15 years, we've been trying to get it more safe there. And sometimes the perfect is the enemy of the good here. And I'm going to take this as a win and say, let's get a sidewalk in there.
This is a big win.
Big
Yeah.
win.
So,
Oh, yeah, I agree. I just don't know who, who controls what and who would be the appropriate
Yeah.
to talk to about that.
Yeah, I'll be the state in that end. We have no control. Our end would be pretty much the same as the other one. Most would be off the road, then it would curve into the.
100 feet of extension of what we have. Yeah,
150 feet
Yeah.
is ours,
right.
right? If we agree to that,
And-
no
By the
design.
green.
And while we're doing this,
Yeah.
maybe we have that extra money. I did have some people say to me on the other side of the road, go from where it ends by the Salvador House up to North Church Street.
Yeah.
There's no
So we can
sidewalk
look at
there. So we
that.
can
Some of
look
that
at
will depend on whether we can do it in-house or not.
That could be black,
Yeah.
you can do that with blacktop,
Right.
because that's blacktop on that side. So maybe you
Yeah, I
do some
love
of that on that side without.
Well, that's why I left it as.
Both sides of Church Street.
Various, in case.
This is a win-win-win.
This is a huge win, yeah. This
No.
is a check, we're getting things done win.
Yes. We do hear your concerns. I mean, we're not brushing them off, but that is the state side. Our side, we're make sure that we do everything we can for safety. Okay?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you for your opinion. It's nice to
Thank
hear.
Thank you.
Did we vote? Yeah.
I have to
voted, yes.
recuse.
Okay, now the Mary Flynn Trail. First of all, I read the
It's the Memorial Bridge.
Yeah.
By the way, is the name
Who
of it.
owns the bridge?
So, all evidence points right now to the fact that Laurel Hill owns the bridge. It was designed and installed.
That's what I thought.
One of the question marks is that, so typically a bridge, somebody owns both sides of the bridge, and then the bridge is their responsibility. In this case, we own one side of the bridge, Laurel Hill owns the other. So Laurel Hill did put in the bridge. So legally, when town council looked at it, it was their opinion that Laurel Hill owns the bridge. Laurel Hill is very much interested in the possibility of the town taking over ownership and responsibility of maintenance and care of the bridge. So one of the thoughts was, and we had an engineer look at it, would be the possibility of going back, and if the repairs were made to the bridge to get it fixed up and in as best a condition as it would,
Major repairs.
to then go to town meeting and possibly see if the town would take a gift of the parking lot at the end, therefore owning both sides of the bridge, and then the bridge would become the responsibility going forward of the town. I know Laurel
What side do
Hill,
we own?
the other side.
How do we own the other side?
I don't know, but we do.
The roads
Part of the ice cream.
the road's on the other
Part of the
side.
ice cream parcel.
Yeah, but
totally.
you would think you own the road.
Yeah, you would have
side.
thought, we don't, yeah. And what that would do is it would then be the ownership of the town. The Laurel Hill thinks that as time goes on, the town is better able to manage projects such as a bridge. And the one thing is that we would use ARPA funds. This was estimated to be about 94,000. So I'm saying that we take 100,000 of ARPA, appropriate it toward this, which we can do anyway. So we can fix the bridge regardless if it stays in their ownership or not. So we could make these repairs to the bridge, period. And then we could consider taking it to town meeting to see if the town would take it over. And if we did, we'd be taking over a bridge that's been renovated and.
I mean, I read the report, they're redoing everything,
Yeah.
cables, borders.
Yep, you saw it, yes.
So it's a major repair, which I think needs to be done.
Yeah,
That bridge can't,
and it would be
can't
good
lose that
for,
bridge.
it would
We can't
only,
lose the bridge and, and there, I've been on that board. It's a wonderful board, but it's not exactly engineering heavy. Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we,
right now, the only thing that's being asked right now is to appropriate the
Money.
funds to make the repairs from ARPA.
Everything else is
on
town-
the bridge.
town meeting.
The rest would be for future discussion.
I'll make a motion that we,
I think you have another.
appropriate. Any questions from the audience? You got your hand up again?
Janie, your hand's up, just so you know.
Any concerns from anybody out there? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we appropriate $100,000 from the ARPA to do the work for the Mary Flynn Bridge.
No, the Memorial Bridge.
Memorial Bridge.
Mary Hopkin Goodrich Bridge.
No, she was,
That's the formal.
Okay,
Second,
all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Yep.
aye.
This is, I like this.
We just
Does wipe out our.
perpetuity of
No,
the
that's
bridge.
Is
good.
that all done?
And
Okay.
the next meeting, Mike's gonna have a list of everything we did with ARPA money and what we save on the taxes that would have gone on tax rate and the ARPA money we used. And I think he's gonna be pretty, it's gonna be pretty nice.
Charging station.
Okay, charging station rates discussion.
Yeah, I know that the Green Committee is gonna take up a discussion of rates and stuff and make a recommendation, but we have them up and running, so we need to come up with a temporary rate. So, just to let you know that the card that'll be used on it, so it's the cost of the electricity, so our current kilowatt per hour rate.
Yeah.
The card that we're swiping at would have a 2.9% markup plus a 30-cent transaction cost. So there are some costs that we, to me, we need to at least make this neutral, where it's not costing taxpayers money, but not necessarily. Right now, I think where we should set it is, when I was speaking to them, they said, anywhere from 30% above what our current kilowatt hour is. So our current kilowatt hour is in the 12-cent range right now. So, you're talking, an extra 3.6 cents. So you're talking setting it at about 15 cents, 15 and a half cent charge.
So what's our kilowatt charge now?
I believe it's 12. I had it and now I can't remember. 12 something. I think it's 12.3 is our current.
So it's below the public's rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think we should just, personally, I think we should just recover the 2.9 plus the 30 cents, set it at 5. We got money from the government, right, to
Right.
the other government to install them. So it didn't cost us anything to install them. And it's brand new equipment, so we don't really think we're gonna have maintenance problems for a while. If we do, we can then build it into a new charge later.
Well,
so right now, whatever you do it, but I do think going forward, because one thing I will bring to town, will recommend to you guys to bring to town meeting is to set up a revolving fund for this and charge a little bit extra. So we put the money into that revolving
I was
fund.
saying, I think we
And
should
then we
be,
can maintain, because the one thing that they do say is people, and we're gonna try to police it when we can, but people at night in the winter, one of the biggest issues they have is people unplug it and they drop the thing in the snow. They don't hang it back up. That does happen. Leads to, so it might be something to build in the future, but right now we don't have any authority to set up a revolving fund. We'd have to set up a new one through town meeting.
I think we do this for now. I think we should be making something on it to do the repairs, but also down the road, we have to add any.
Well, that
should
would be
be-
part of creating that revolving fund. So.
Yeah,
like I
because it's
said,
gonna be costing the taxpayers for people to come plug the car in.
Yeah.
But
then I go- some
there's a
people
lot of
buy
grants
gas.
for this stuff, Chuck.
Yeah, I know, but just, I'm not saying the big thing, but I think
Yeah.
we should have, that should pay for itself eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a lot of grants and funds, but.
Yeah, it's not like us having,
No, I'm not saying.
It's not like a profit, but it's sort of like a profit.
Yeah, and I don't know how-
Buy it for A, it's like the arbitrage of electricity here for a poor little
There
parking
are
space.
places they said, charge quite a bit more, and then there's others that want to be competitive and others that want to offer it for free. I know there's hotels that offer it free to guests, but then charge for non-guests,
You pay in your room.
stuff like that. There's,
Where does Lennox do? Do you know?
I don't,
They have the ones right near the police station
yeah,
that were free for a while. I don't know if they still are.
yeah, I don't know. I
don't think it'd be
don't.
free.
I did look at some in
Taxpayers
town, I
would be
know
paying
that.
for
I think it's,
somebody's car.
their kilowatt hour plus I think it's 2.5, at Norman Rockwell, they charge slightly above. The ones charge slightly above than that. Like I said, at 30%, you're looking at about 15 cents per kilowatt. And
And I hope that when Laura, I see Laura, I hope that when Green Communities brings up, if they're going to bring a recommendation to us, I love the idea.
long term, right now is a short.
I understand, Michael. I listen. I really am listening. But I do like the idea that we had previously talked about with the 2-tier rate to, try to have a benefit for employees that I don't have any problem selling at cost our electricity to employees. But you guys come back to us with a recommendation, right, Laura? Hi, Laura.
Hi
So-
there. I think that makes sense. I do think it's, I like both of those ideas of, I don't think we should be making money on people charging, but I think we should be building in money for the maintenance, whether it's someone who hits it or leaves it leaves it attached to their car and drives off, or leaves it in the snow. I mean, things happen and you want to be building up that fund so that the town can be taking care of that. So that's great. And I think having it as a perk to employees who take the step to invest in an electric vehicle and they get it at cost, that's a very cool thing to do as well.
And this is town-owned infrastructure, so if there was a significant damage to something, it'd be covered in our insurance.
Yeah.
So we're looking at trying to get the nominal fund for nominal repairs that would be below the deductible.
Right, or if you wanted to build toward future expansion, or however you want to do this is sort of up to, but I think I would recommend letting green communities, and as we get some data in, as we see the use and stuff, we figure out a long-term solution from them to you guys. But in the next couple of, say, month or two, while we try to figure out exactly where to permanently set it.
What do you want to set it up?
Where, my recommendation to you guys was 30% above whatever our rate is.
16 cents,
30% above our current
which is,
electrical. It's about 12, so it's set at about 15 and a half.
so 16.
Yeah, so, like I said, yeah, about 16. Well, I, instead of a hard number, I actually recommend you just go with a percentage.
15 and a half.
So 30% above
I
our
hear
current
10.
kilowatt per hour. 10, like I said, the known costs are 2.9% transaction,
So-
2.9% fee, 30-cent fee plus the kilowatt.
So instead of putting, so if we say 30% over, so if the kilowatt hour changes,
Yes,
that
I
changes.
adjust.
So we don't have to,
Right, so it
so
doesn't,
instead of saying 16.
right, yes, you
go-
got it, yes.
So make a motion, we go with the what percentage?
I recommend 30,
30.
but
30%.
it's up.
It's up and running now, right?
It is.
And so what is it that we have to do now that we can't wait till they make a recommendation? Because the problem is if,
Right now, it's free.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set
is it
after
widely
this
used?
meeting.
Now that everyone knows it's free, maybe it'll increase. I mean, my point is just, if the recommendation comes in that with all the.
It might take us
Let me
a little
finish, let
longer.
me finish this, let me finish this. All right. If the recommendation comes in that with the infrastructure and trying to future fund things, it might need to be at 50%.
Bust down the road.
Then, yeah, but you don't really want to announce the pricing and go up on it. I think we just, if it's take 2 months to kind of know.
Yeah, but why should people be getting free, taxpayers paying for somebody charging the car?
Yeah.
I'm not happy taking.
Right after this meeting, I'm gonna set the rate on it, so.
What?
I literally can log in right after this meeting and set the rate on it.
I'll make a motion, we set it at 30%.
It's up to you guys.
30% over the
Kilowatt
kilowatt
per hour.
hours.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. This is temporary.
Temporary.
Yep.
Temporary. Good. Can I go unplug my car before we do that? I'm
Do
just
it now.
kidding, kidding, everyone, that was a joke.
50% right now. Then turn it back to 30 when we leave the meeting. Okay, announcement.
Yeah, Roxanne McCaffrey has resigned from the position as Council on Aging Director and would like to just thank her for her work that she's done.
I'd like to thank you, Roxanne, for your service on that and service for the town in the past. It's always been a pleasure working with you. And thank you. And we're all set with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be meeting with the Council on Aging Board and then coming back to this board with the recommendation on how to move forward. Okay.
And we have a resignation on that board too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we'll
can you,
take care of all-
can you announce that as part of the, so we can,
Yeah, Jack
Gremley.
Gremley, sorry, has resigned from the board.
But I just, we need to post that we have an opening so that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how many people are on that board?
6.
Okay.
Okay, award bids for reconstruction of crosswalks along Main Street and bituminous concrete paving of various town roads.
Yep, Palmer Paving was the low bidder, so I'd like the board to authorize me to enter into contracts for the paving and the crosswalk construction.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Mike to finalize the pound paving for the,
I mean, I'll second the motion, but I want to have just a quick discussion on the details. It came in a little higher than you expected?
It did, so we're gonna end up having to use our full 1.2 at last year's town meeting, plus all of our chapter 90 money, plus the shared street grant money that we received, which we have a total of $2,150,000. This came in at $2,107,000. Originally, we were projecting around 1.6, 1.7, but the cost did come in.
We don't need jars of pennies from the public or anything?
We don't need anything, but we were hoping to take some of this money and put it toward the remaining roads in the next year, so.
But it looks like the state is going to do its own, the state roads, which is.
Part of that one that I was talking about that got us the sidewalk one, we were also asking, they're doing some route improvements and we're asking for consideration for 183.
Right, that's great.
So, yeah, so we're working under a whole bunch of different things to try to stretch our money as always as far as we possibly can.
Okay.
We have it.
We have it.
we have it. Perfect.
So I seconded your motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Josh Building race letter.
Yeah, so tonight they actually had their meeting, so they're down at the Arcadia shop, planning out I believe it was the Arcadia day. So it's gonna be September 10th, they've already met with town officials, lined up everything. You know, they said if they need to be here, they would have somebody here. I know, Chuck, I had mentioned to you thought a letter was fine.
Yeah.
And that, so they've just informing the board of it and.
We already gave them a liquor license, so.
Yep. It's an
So
annual.
they don't race, you just get drunk.
It's an annual rate, 47th annual one, so everything's in effect. It's September 10th. One of the things that I will ensure as we award the bid for the paving, one of the big projects was the milling and paving of Prospect, which would be, I will have specifically in there that cannot start until after the 11th. So therefore, no roads will be dug up at the time of the milling.
So motion approved the race, yes?
We don't have to approve anything, right?
Do we have to?
Don't have to permit the race.
Yep.
Okay, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And along that line with races, there's another one that's going to be in October. The folks that contacted town, Teresa's working on it.
Yeah, there's a couple. That
Do tell.
groups are trying, I think there may be another Pan Am challenge again. And then there's also a potential road race that the Red Lion Inn is considering.
Great.
And me and Chief Finley met with the organizers of it so that they go through, make sure they have a safety plan, all the other things that we would require anybody to have and bring that one forward.
Good.
Yep.
Okay,
A question.
yes. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question? Was Pine Woods ever approved? ARPA funds? I have Jamie recused herself. Was it put to a?
Do we vote?
Yeah, I thought you two had voted.
Yeah.
Just in
I
case.
heard-
Motioned and seconded it.
I heard win-win-win.
Oh, from us.
That's how we vote. That's the same as I.
Well, maybe just for clarification.
I'd make a motion, we approve the 450 feet of the town portion of the project conditional on.
Well, no, wait a minute. This is the sidewalk on Church Street.
Right. Yeah.
This really has nothing to do with Pinewood.
Right, sorry, we don't approve the Pinewood part.
No, that's the state.
That's state.
They approve the ARPA funds for the.
We're just continuing town sidewalk from the end to the state, to the town line.
Right, and that was approved.
That was approved, but that has nothing, I mean, it is connecting, but.
But let me ask a question though. That letter which I read said that this is conditional on some environmental studies that they may need to do. And I just want to ask the question, well, it says that project or highway. So because if the state can't figure out a way to do it, then I think we might not prioritize 100 grand into 450 feet of sidewalk if it's a sidewalk to nowhere.
That's why I left it at sidewalks.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, all right. I make a motion that we approve the 100,000 for the, was it 100?
No, we already did, because we did, it was the remaining
okay.
funds of ARPA.
Yeah, that's right. We did do that.
Yes. No problem.
Okay, executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the police and DPW unions And the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining of the public body, and we will not be coming back into public session after. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call. All those in favor?
Aye, Patrick.
Aye, Chuck.
Hi, Jamie.